Today we are looking at everyone's favorite story problems. Okay, so for our table of contents, it's story problems. It's page 24. Pause it if you need time to write that down. And then in our interactive notebooks on our left-hand side, we have our story problems title page and then the problems that go along with this. So first of all, on this left-hand side of your paper is just sort of our info of things that you can ask yourself, walk yourself through when you feel stuck. Okay, instead of just sitting there and saying, I don't know what to do, I can't do this is impossible, here are some things that you should go through. So first of all, do you know what the main question is? Look at the big picture of it. Okay, this would sort of be, how could you summarize and share this info with someone else? If someone said, hey, what's this problem about? What would you say? Okay, then our next step is, did we break that info down into what's given and what is unknown, right? This is a great time to be asking yourself, what do I know? Okay, and what am I trying to find? Because often if we can make a list of things we do know, at least we can start thinking about, what could I maybe try to get where I need to be? It might not be perfect every time, but at least a step forward is better than no steps forward. Okay, look for any info that might go together, right? Is there some info that, hey, this is telling me multiple pieces, together those are telling me a new piece? Okay, look and see if there's ever pieces of it that don't pertain. So you sort of picked your main question up here. You know what you are looking for. You know what you're trying to find. But then you're like, wait a minute, one of those values that I have has nothing to do with where I'm trying to get. Okay, is there something that you're getting focused on that isn't important for that piece of the problem? What can you sort of remove and take off of your plate? Can you draw a picture? Okay, it doesn't have to be a great picture. Could you see what that looks like in a visual format, especially for my students who know they're visual learners? How could I maybe look and see what that looks like visually? Maybe if you're not a visual person, could you try and make an option that's simplified, right? Could you do a similar idea, but with something that's simpler? Okay, if something is talking about dividing it up into 20, well, what would happen if I divided it up into 2? What type of math would that look like? Okay, maybe you're dealing with really large numbers. What would happen if those numbers were smaller? How would I think about it in that regard? Okay, just anything that's sort of getting you to make steps forward, even if it isn't the perfect answer yet. So I'm gonna tell you right now, there's 4 examples over here. I would not typically just go through and do these 4 problems for you. Okay, in class, we're gonna take time to look at them, to talk about them, to work together, but I do at least want you to see some info if you're not here in class. So I really, really strongly recommend that you're taking a little bit of time to try and do some of this on your own. But if we look at this example, mountain gorillas had a population of 680 in the year 2008. Through conservation efforts and improvements, their population has increased by 170%. Okay, so since then, it's now up until 2021, it's increased by 170%. If wildlife experts estimate that there are another 15% of the mountain gorilla that we haven't counted, okay, that are unaccounted for in these studies in 2021, what would be the estimated total number of living mountain gorillas at this time? Okay, so first of all, that's a lot of words. So a lot of my students just, I don't know what to do. There was too many words. I can't even start this. Okay, but if we go through our list, what is this talking about? Okay, we know we are talking about the mountain gorilla population. Okay, make it easier for yourself. Does it really matter that it's a mountain gorilla just versus a gorilla? No, the gorilla population is what we're talking about. Okay, we know what it was. We now want to figure out what we think it is. Okay, so if we're breaking down to what we know and what we don't know, okay, or what we're trying to find, we do know that in the year 2008, the population was 680. We also know that in the year 2021, okay, this had increased by. So if we're using our key terms from notes yesterday, we're taking this 680 and we know that it's increased by whatever 170% is. Okay, we also know that there were some that were unaccounted for. So in addition, there's an additional 15% that we have yet to take into consideration. Okay, we're trying to find what this new value is. So now all of these words are sort of not as important, and let's just see what we know with this. We know we started with 680 gorillas. Okay, we know that we've added 170% to the population. Well, we know how to find 170%. We can either do that through straightforward multiplication, or we can do that through setting up a proportion. Either way is fine. So this problem has multiple steps, so I'm going to do one of each so you can decide, right? So we know that the percent always goes over 100. Okay, and we know that the whole group is 680, and we're trying to find the part of it. Now, it's going to seem a little bit weird because part is larger than the 680, but that's because our percent is larger than 100. Okay, so we cross multiply. 680 times 170. I need my calculator for that. We get 1,15600. We will then divide. Okay, so we know that it's increased, the 170% is 1156. Okay, so in 2021, we added an additional 1,156 gorillas. So if we take all this information and we now put that together, okay, that's going to give us a total of 1836. But scientists are saying they missed 15% of the population. So there's another 15% that they think is still out there. So we still need to figure out that additional 15% on top of this 1836. Okay, so now I need to figure out what 15% of this value is. So now I'm going to go the multiplication way. So I'm going to multiply times 15%, which is 0.15. So I'm using my calculator. Okay, this gives us a 275.4. We can't have 0.4 over gorilla, so we're going to round that to the nearest gorilla, 275 gorillas. Okay, and we need to include that in our previous population. So we're going to take that 275 and we're going to add that onto our 1,836. And so now it looks like we think that there are 2,111 mountain gorillas in the wild. Okay. Number 2. During a recent shopping trip, Lisa bought 6 shirts that cost $15.95 each. How much change did Lisa receive if she paid with a $100 bill? So there's lots of different ways that you can go about approaching this. Okay, but if we're talking about picture, what's happening? Lisa went shopping. What do we know? We know that Lisa purchased 6 shirts, okay, that were each $15.95. Now, my guess is that some of you have been shopping before, and you know that if you buy 6 shirts and they're $15.95 each, they're not going to cost $15.95 total, right? We need 6 times that $15.95 to get the full cost. So she spent $95.70 on shirts. Okay, we also know that she paid with a $100 bill. Okay, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find out how much change she got. Well, there's nothing in here talking about sales tax, so we're going to assume that this price includes sales tax. Okay, so how much change did she get? Well, if you pay with $100 and you spent $95.70 of it, right? Spending is subtracting. There's other ways that you could consider thinking that through, which would be fine as well. And so she should be getting back $4.30 of change. At Jurassic World, so Jurassic World, right, the movie, they have a dinosaur population. And it's telling us that it's 450% of what it was in 2014. We knew in 2014, so if there were 72 dinosaurs in 2014, how many dinosaurs are there now? Okay, so we're talking about the population of dinosaurs at Jurassic World. Okay, we knew in 2014 there were 72 dinosaurs. And now we want to figure out what there are now. Now, we need to read this carefully and notice a difference here between the one up above. Okay, so when we look at this one, it says the dinosaur population is 450% of what it was in 2014. It's not increased by, right? We're not seeing that increased by that we saw up here. It's just of what it was in 2020 or in 2014. So we just need to find what 450% of that is. We're not adding it to anything else because it's not increased or decreased from that point. So if we want to calculate this, there's multiple ways we can, either with the proportion or with multiplication. Okay, here's our percent over 100. Okay, this is how many there were total. That was our whole. We're going to figure out our part. It just happens to be larger this time. Okay, so I'm going to take that 72 times 450. And then I'm going to divide. We get 324. Okay, so that tells us that 450% is 324. The question is asking us, what are we trying to find? How many dinosaurs there were? And that's it, right? We found that 450%, so 324 dinosaurs is our answer. And I'm going to put dinos because I'm running out of space. Okay, so last problem, you've decided that you want to remodel your bathroom and install a tile floor. The bathroom is in the shape of a rectangle and the floor measures 14 feet, 18 inches long by 5 feet wide, or 5 feet, 6 inches wide. The tiles you want to use cost $5 each, and each tile covers 4 2/3 square feet. Okay, we want to decide if we have enough money, if we have $100 to purchase this. Okay, so this is a lot going on. So what do we know? We know that we want to retile a bathroom. That's our big picture. Okay, we know the measurements of a bathroom. So whenever I sort of hear, oh, I have some measurements of something, I'm a visual person and it helps for me to see that drawn out. Right, so I know I have this rectangular bathroom going on. And I know that one side measures as 14 feet, 8 inches. And my other side is a measurement of 5 feet and 6 inches. Okay. So I need to figure out, first of all, I guess, what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find out how many tiles I even need, right? That's the important piece. I need to figure out how many tiles I need in this space. So right now, this money is kind of irrelevant because I need to know the number of tiles first of all. Okay, so tiles cover area, and we'll notice that in this word problem, right? It tells us the number of square feet. So we're talking about area. So we want to figure out what our area is of this in here. Now, unfortunately, this measurement is given to us in feet and inches. And that's not going to help us as one measurement. So we need this either to all be feet or to all be inches. Either way, doesn't matter. You can go either way you want. I personally think I'm going to go to all feet. So instead of saying 8 inches, right, it's going to be 8 out of 12, right? 8 inches out of 12 to be my foot conversion. And then we can either reduce that into 2/3, okay, or turn it into a decimal, but this one happens to be a repeating one, so I'm not going to like that number. So I'm going to say this is 14 2/3. Okay, over here, 5 feet and 6 inches, so 6 is going to be 6 out of 12. So you could easily do this as 5.5 or as 5 1/2. So if we want area, we have to do length times width. And I'm just going to do that in my calculator. Right? We can use our calculator with fractions and figuring out what that gets. And that gets us a 25 Okay, I have 25 and 2/3. Oh, that can't be right. I typed that not as a 14. Let me try again. 14. I missed that one. 80. That gives us an 80 and 2/3 square feet. Okay? Okay. So I have 80 and 2/3 square feet. So all of this together, all of this orange is 80 and 2/3 of a square feet. And every tile that I put in is going to take up 4 and 2/3. 4 and 2/3. 4 and 2/3. Right? So if I'm dividing this into small pieces, I need to divide this to see how many tiles will go into that. So again, I'm just going to use my calculator. I'm going to take that 80 and 2/3. Okay, and that tells me that I'll need 17 and 2/7 of a tile, but I clearly can't buy 17 and 2/7 of a tile. I have to buy 18 tiles. Okay, so how many tiles is it going to take me to cover this floor? Perfect. I got that answer. It's 18 tiles. Now I can go back and worry about the math. How much does it cost per tile? Well, it's $5 per tile. Okay, so that's going to give me $90. So do we have enough money? Assuming there might be a little bit of sales tax, but we don't have that mentioned in there. Yes, we have enough money to purchase the tiles.